So let's take a look at part 4 and 5 together. As I scroll down, what I want you to notice is the variety and the number of annotations that this person found. So we start out with an aha, there's a CC, memory moment, of course. Lots of ahas in this section, right? Because this is where the writer is coming to his final realizations about life and what he needs to do. So if you found more than one aha, you're on the right track. He's definitely talking about his new way of seeing things. He also has his memory moment. This is another key thing that you should have noticed. And you should have noticed that this memory moment, the purpose of this is to show how many things have changed since he's been in prison for 20 years, right? And it shows how different life will be for him when he comes out, and make us think about how different life is for other people who are just coming out of prison. One thing that some of you noted that I wanted to comment was that you tried to say that this was a tough question. It's not a tough question. He's asking his friend what these words or these letters mean, right? The social media shorthand writing he encounters that he's never encountered before. That's not really a tough question. A tough question is something that really has an impact on a person's life and points at an internal or external conflict. So just know that if you didn't find a tough question in this text, that's fine. There's not a lot of tough questions in it. So if you didn't find a tough question, don't worry. The other really interesting thing in this TED Talk is at the bottom. And some of you identified the last couple sentences as words to the wiser. So if you did that and you explained why and you analyzed it, I'm not going to mark you off for it. And this is why. This is a really interesting TED Talk because it's a mix between stories and narrative and nonfiction, right? He's telling us the story of his life, but it's also true. So it's also nonfiction. So a memory or a word to the wiser is usually when one character is telling another character advice, and the character receiving the advice learns a lesson and it changes their life. A lot of you guys identified that at the end, he's giving us words to the wiser. So he's telling the audience some advice about how he thinks we should think about people and what he wants to happen in society. So that's a gray area. And I think it was actually really smart of you guys to try to figure that out and figure out what those last two sentences were. You could have also said contrast and contradiction, right? Because that's not how he felt when he was first in prison, and you could have come at it from that point of view. So, as long as you annotated the last couple of sentences or last couple of paragraphs and you analyzed what he was saying there and why he was saying it, that's fine with me. That shows active reading. If you didn't annotate it at all, that's when, you weren't actively reading, you weren't actively thinking about it, you weren't analyzing it.